Hello, my sweet summer children. It's second Sunday, and I've got some juice to get you through the long night. If you're new to my channel, please take a second and join the sweet summer family by clicking on that subscribe button. Anyway, for today's video, we are going to dive into the North, the real North, and the first defense against the White Walkers. When I say the real North, what I mean is the North that's held by the Starks. Anything else is just fraudulent to me. As of right now, my favorite bastard of them all, Jon Snow, is the king in the North, and his ruling seat is Winterfell. The White Walkers are going to be coming from the lands of always winter down to the wall, maybe bringing the wall down somehow and into the North. So the first line of defense against the White Walkers is the wall and the North. The king in the North knows that the real threat to the realms of men is the White Walkers, and Davos has said a divided North won't stand a chance against the White Walkers.
And a divided North won't stand a chance against the Night King.
In the North, there are great houses that owe their allegiance to House Stark. As of now, a lot of those houses are divided. The vast and frigid North stretches from the neck to the wall, encompassing White Harbor, Moat Cailin, Winterfell, the Wall, and much more. The North is as large as all of the other 6 kingdoms put together, and its importance in the wars to come are just as great as its size. When our story starts, the North is united under their liege lord Ned Stark. Houses Manderley, Bolton, Kerwin, Glover, Umber, Reed, Dustin, Karstark, Ryswell, Mormont, Hornwood, Flint, Norrie, and Tallheart all send men to fight with Robb Stark. When Robb leaves the North with his host, he has about 12,000 men, and by the time he reached Moat Cailin, it swelled to 19,500 men. A lot has happened since then, however. Battles were fought, won, and lost. Houses fell and houses rose. Traitors switched sides. Robb Stark died, and House Stark died with him. But in Season 6, we see House Stark taking back their ancestral seat at Winterfell. In the books, Jon is dead. He's been stabbed by the Night's Watch. Stannis and Davos are rallying the northern houses to come and join Stannis. And some houses do and some don't. Some act like they don't, but they do. Some act like they do, but they don't. So much like what we see going on with Jon and Davos in Season 6 is what is actually happening with Stannis and Davos in the books. But anyway, so the first 3 houses we are going to talk about is Manderley, Kerwin, and Glover. House Manderley is the richest house in the North. Their seat is Newcastle in White Harbor. Wyman Manderley is the Lord of House Manderley. In Game of Thrones, Lord Manderley's son, Sir Willis and Sir Wendell, are leading their hosts to meet up with Robb, and their host consists of 1,500 men, 20-odd knights, and as many squires, 200 mounted lances, swordsmen, and free riders. The remaining are armed with spears, pikes, and tridents. Lord Manderley's son, Sir Willis, is taken prisoner when Roose Bolton's forces are defeated by Tywin at the Battle of the Green Fork. But when Roose Bolton takes back Harrenhal, Willis is freed and remains with Lord Bolton. But then he is captured again after Lannister forces attack them on the way to the Red Wedding. Sir Wendell is killed at the Red Wedding, and Sir Willis is then taken prisoner back to Harrenhal. Lord Manderley makes an agreement with the Crown or Cersei to support Roose Bolton, but he wants his son returned to him. But he only supports Roose Bolton in public. In private, he owes the Starks a debt, and he plans to pay it. He's doing all kinds of shit behind Roose Bolton's and the Crown's back. Like, he's building a war fleet that they don't know about, and this fleet he actually started building with the Umbers in Clash of Kings, but the Crown doesn't know about it. He's meeting with Davos, pretending to kill Davos and trying to get Rickon Stark from Skagos to make him Lord of Winterfell. Oh, and quite possibly Lord Manderley killed Rhaegar, Simon, and Jared Fry, whom were sent to White Harbor with Lord Manderley's son Wendell's bones, and some betrothals were or not made, and he's basically killed them and served them up into pies to the Boltons and everyone else at Ramsay's wedding to fake Arya Stark. So when Jaime Lannister finds Willis Manderley, he's in a pitiful state and he's been fed the human flesh of Vargo Hoat. Lord Manderley did finally get back his pitiful son, and the North remembers. We saw in season 6 Lord Manderley declaring Jon the king in the North, so we can count House Manderley into this new Northern alliance to fight the White Walkers. Next, we have House Glover. Lord Galbert Glover is titled Master of Deepwood Motte. When Robb called his banners, Lord Galbert and his brother Robert answered the call. Lord Glover isn't at the Red Wedding because Robb sent him to Seaguard to seek out Howland Reed. When Lord Manderley meets with Davos, Lord Glover is there. And when the Ironborn take Deepwood Motte, it is Stannis that helps Lord Glover defeat the Ironborn and take back Deepwood Motte. Also in season 6, we see Lord Glover firstly refuse the call and then later apologize and swear fealty to Jon, crowning him king in the North. So we can count Lord Glover and House Glover into the new Northern Alliance. Next, we have House Kerwin, whose ancestral seat is Castle Kerwin. Medgar Kerwin is the Lord of Castle Kerwin, and he has one son and one daughter. When Robb calls his banners, Lord Medgar Kerwin answers the call. He brings his daughter Janelle with him because, he wants Robb to marry her privately. Lord Medgar is taken captive at Harrenhal, where he is killed, and his son Clay is named Lord of Castle Kerwin, but Clay is later killed by Ramsay Bolton when Lord Clay and Sir Roderick join their forces to basically provide relief to Winterfell. Janelle is now the Lady of Kerwin. She swears fealty to Roose Bolton. This guy in season 6 must be Clay, resurrected from the dead, or a cousin or something, but this Lord Kerwin has claimed for House Stark and calls Jon king in the North. So we can count House Kerwin into the Northern Alliance. The next houses we have is Mormont, Dustin, and Hornwood. House Mormont is a small and proud house of Bear Island. When Robb calls his banners, House Mormont answers the call. At the time, Lady Mage was the Lady of Bear Island. Lady Mage brings her daughter and heir Daisy with her to war. She is not at the Red Wedding because, like Lord Glover, Lady Mormont is instructed to go to Seaguard as well. However, her daughter Daisy is killed at the Red Wedding. She has other daughters as well, Alysanne, Lyra, and Jory, and the baby cub that we all love, the Lady of Bear Island, Lyanna Mormont, whom is now aligned with House Stark. Next, we move on to House Dustin. House Dustin's ancestral seat is Barrow Hall in Barrowtown. Lady Barbara Dustin is the Lady of Barrow Hall, and when Robb called his banners, she kind of answered the call, basically sending like a handful of men to his calls. She called it a token force. Well, Lady Dustin is hard to read. There are some interesting things about Lady Dustin. One being she used to fuck Brandon Stark. He took her maidenhead, and the other, she despises Ned Stark for not bringing her husband William Dustin's bones back after the whole Tower of Joy thing, and she has vowed to Theon if she has anything to do with it, Ned's bones will never make it to the crypts of Winterfell. Lady Dustin has no love for the Starks. House Dustin is one of the first houses to support the Boltons. Although Lady Dustin can't stand Ramsay and she hates the Freys, her hate for the Freys has really nothing to do with the Starks though. House Dustin lost men at the Red Wedding, and that's basically all there is to it. The thing about Lady Dustin is she has a political mind, and with the Starks, Glovers, Manderleys, Kerwins, and Mormonts already aligned, she can fall in line or die. Chances are she will fall in line. So we can count the Dustins to the Northern Alliance. Next, we have House Hornwood. House Hornwood are the ruling house of Hornwood. Lord Hallis Hornwood answers the call when Robb calls his banners and goes with him to war. He is killed at the Battle of the Green Fork. His son and heir Darren Hornwood was killed at the Whispering Woods by Jaime Lannister. Hornwood's succession is a mess right now. Lord Hallis' wife, Lady Danella, is captured and forced to marry Ramsay Bolton, but Lord Manderley takes Hornwood to keep Ramsay from getting it, and Ramsay has Lady Danella locked in the tower and starved until her death. Lord Hallis has a bastard son, Lawrence Snow, who Bran supports as becoming Lord of Hornwood because basically he reminds him of Jon. Lawrence was held captive by the Ironborn at Deepwood Mott but is freed by Stannis. He is the heir and should be named Lord of Hornwood and take his place at House Stark's side. The next houses are Karstark, Umber, and Bolton. This is where it gets tricky. So House Karstark of the Carhold answers the call when Robb calls his banners. House Karstark's ancestral seat is the Carhold. Lord Rickon Karstark has one of the larger northern armies, and he brings with him 3,000 men and his sons Haryon, Eddard, and Torrhen. Lord Karstark fights by Robb's side, and two of his sons, Eddard and Torrhen, are killed by Jaime Lannister. After Jaime Lannister is freed, Lord Karstark later kills Willem Lannister and Tion Frey for vengeance. Robb decides Lord Karstark is a traitor for killing the boys, and he who passed the sentence swung the sword, and he lost all of the Karstark men that day, and that's the day he lost the war. So Lord Karstark's heir, Haryon, was held captive at Harrenhal, then freed, and then held captive again at Maidenpool. Lord Rickard's uncle, Arnulf Karstark, is basically playing Stannis. He's undermining Stannis and working with the Boltons, and is only friendly with Stannis in hopes that Haryon will be executed by the Lannisters. Alice Karstark, Lord Rickard's daughter, is most likely the Lady of the Carhold in the show, being as this guy seems to be Haryon, and this guy probably died in the Battle of the Bastards. Alice Karstark is betrothed to Darren Hornwood, but he's been killed, as I stated previously, so Lady Alice actually flees the Carhold to the Wall and seeks refuge from her uncle Arnulf and her cousin, and gets protection from Lord Commander Jon Snow. Jon makes a plan to marry Alice to a wildling, a Fen, which would create a new house. So a wildling and Karstark will hold the Carhold, and for the show purposes, it will likely be Tormund and Alice Karstark, but that's just my opinion. So while in the show, the Karstarks fought with the Boltons and Robb killed Rickard Karstark. The Karstarks will fall in line as Haryon is probably dead and Alice is friendly with Jon. Next is the Umbers. The Umbers can be very confusing, honestly. House Umber's ancestral seat is the Last Hearth. When Robb calls his banners, the Umbers answer the call. Great Jon Umber is the Lord of the Last Hearth. His son and heir, Small Jon, accompanies him to fight alongside Robb. The Great Jon is captured and held captive at the Twins during the Red Wedding. Small Jon is killed, so the houses Umber split into two parts. Some Umbers go with the Great Jon's uncle, Holder Horsebane Umber, and the other Umbers go with the Great Jon's other uncle, Mors Crowfoot Umber. So Horsebane Umber swear fealty to Roose Bolton, but only because Walder Frey has his nephew, the Great Jon, in chains. Crowfoot Umber swears fealty to Stannis, but tells Stannis he would not fight his brother, Horsebane Umber. Now, the Great Jon is said to have more than one son and at least two daughters. This must be one of his sons. And he didn't seem fond of Ramsay Bolton, but he hated wildlings more. But he's dead anyway, so fuck him. The duty to pledge to House Stark will probably fall on the shoulders of Great Jon's other son or one of his daughters, and the decision won't be hard to make. Maybe Arya even finds the Great Jon in the cells at the Twins. Next, we have the Boltons. The Boltons answered the call, but the Boltons were ambitious traitors. The Boltons of the Dreadfort have a long history with House Stark, going to war with them instead of beside them. Roose Bolton betrays Robb at the Red Wedding by conspiring with the Lannisters and the Freys. Most of the northern houses that are aligned with the Boltons only align with them out of fear. But we know from the Battle of the Bastards, the Boltons are no more, so fuck them. That leaves the Dreadfort wide open for the taking. House Reed are loyal to the Starks, and the Starks only. House Flint and Tallheart and all the rest of them are loyal to the Starks, and if not, the threat of the Long Night would unify them. Along with the northern houses, there are also the northern mountain clans. They sent men south with Robb as well, and they have pledged 3,000 men to Stannis. We also have the wildlings, and 3,119 wildlings pass through the wall and are granted the gift and the new gifts, and Oakenshield, an abandoned castle on the wall, is given to Tormund. Also, we have the men of the Night's Watch. The new Lord Commander of the Night's Watch is Ed. We know the Night's Watch are under 1,000, but we don't know how much under 1,000 they are. I would give them like 800, 600. 600 at Castle Black, 200 at Eastwatch, and 200 at the Shadow Tower. That's what it says. So the Night's Watch has 19 castles. Castle Black, Eastwatch by the Sea, and the Shadow Tower are the only castles that are manned. The other castles should be given to wildlings, mountain clans, or whoever wants to man them. We also have one in a possible direwolves, ghosts, and Nymeria, so we can add them to the forces. We also have the forces of the Vale, which is likely the Knights of the Vale, which is said to be able to muster up as much a force as the North and Dorne. We also should take into consideration that Walder Frey was killed. Even so, Littlefinger is the liege lord of Riverrun, and his ruling seat is Harrenhal, so we can probably count on some of the Tully forces and their allies in the Riverlands to come north. So what are the numbers? So when Robb leaves Winterfell with his host, he has 12,000 men. People join him along the King's Road, and by the time he reaches Moat Caitlin, he has 19,500 men. Not even half of the Northern Army went to war, though. But a lot of people were killed at the Red Wedding, and even more at the Battle of the Bastards. If you count wildlings, the Night's Watch, the mountain clans, the northern houses at full bottom of the barrel scraping, the Knights of the Vale, and some of the forces in the Riverlands, you end up with this number. And this is how many men will stand between the White Walkers and the realms of men. What do you guys think? What do they need to do? It's so important for the North to remain a united front to defeat these walkers. If Jon can't convince anyone to help him, it will be the North and the North alone that will have to stop the White Walkers. Do they have enough men? Thanks for watching. Like this video if you like it. You can follow me on these social medias. Click that subscribe button and hit that bell so you can become a sweet summer child. Thanks, you guys. Have a great day. Okay, my sweet summer children.